The day after I shifted into an Omega. It was Independence Day. Every law bows to the alphas. They can hunt any lone Omega they fancy. I had nowhere to go, nowhere to run, so I knocked on my rival's door. The reason was simple: he's a beta. Just after midnight, I was about to leave when I saw my rival pick up a pair of rose gold handcuffs. I shouted in panic, "Betas and Omegas don't have a future." He slowly peeled off the suppressant patch on the back of his neck. The top-tier alpha's pheromones hit my nose like a wave. "I never said I was a beta. You were the one who threw yourself at me first." Good evening, dear listeners. Welcome to FM 106.7, our special Independence Day drive-in broadcast. We're 5 minutes away from the annual Independence Day. During Independence Day, all surveillance, emergency lines and network devices are shut down. Alphas, lock onto your targets and go all out. I slammed the gas and the speedometer shivered up to 200 kilometers per hour, about 125 miles per hour. I didn't dare look back as I tore down the highway, because I was the Omega being hunted. Even in the rented Lamborghini, I couldn't shake the dozens of cars closing in behind me. Run, run. If they catch me, I'll be torn to pieces. Dear listeners, we're entering an intense countdown segment. 3, 2, 1, the Independence Day frenzy begins. The speed cameras that had been blinking on the highway went dark all at once, rows of lights extinguished like someone blowing out candle after candle. Only the area lit by our headlights ahead remained bright, everything else around us turned pitch black. I slammed my fist into the steering wheel and cursed the idiot who came up with this Independence Day stunt. Independence Day is December 6th every year, a full 24 hours. All the alphas can hunt any lone Omega they want. On this day, the world's surveillance and communications systems are shut down. That means every law is suspended for a day. Everything clears a path for the alphas. They can mark a lone Omega however they please, whether the Omega wants it or not. The sports car was guzzling gas. The tank was already below half. I gripped the wheel and didn't dare stop. Refueling was out of the question. Hours at high speed left my eyes dry and burning. Where could I go? Seeing an exit ramp split off up ahead, I clenched my teeth, stomped the gas, steered hard with one hand and slammed the car into reverse with the other. Screech, the tires screamed as I pulled off a perfect drift. The alphas tailing me couldn't react in time. They watched helplessly as I dropped off the highway. Only then did my tension ease a little. This road, why did it look so familiar? Isn't this the road to Blake's place? If I recognize it, that's because he's my rival. Just a few days ago I'd been blocking his gate, threatening him to stay away from my crush. Gas was about to run out. I slapped myself hard across the face. He wouldn't just let me die, would he? After all the times I'd targeted him, he'd never said anything or made trouble for me. Blake, a top-notch beta who shouldn't even feel like a beta on paper. He's 6'2", still young, flown in from headquarters as a regional director with a brilliant future. People say his family is influential, but would someone like Blake really let himself be used by an alpha? I parked in front of Blake's villa and froze with my hand on the doorbell. Would he open the door for me? Behind me were the relentless alphas chasing me down. In front of me stood the one person who, against all odds, felt safe in that moment, my beta rival. Just as I hesitated, the door opened. Blake stood a short distance away, separated from me by an iron gate and a yard. My mind snapped. I gripped the gate with both hands and yelled, "Help me." His tone was calm, almost detached, as he clasped his elegant hands behind his back and rolled his wrist lazily. "You've differentiated." I know, it happened so suddenly. 10 minutes before Independence Day started. If I'd had any time to prepare, I never would have bothered you. Why not go to Oscar? Blake lifted his gaze sharply, his eyes locking on mine. Why not find your perfect alpha? I froze, speechless. Honestly, calling what I felt for Oscar love would have been a stretch. It was more like admiration. And the truth was, his cooking was just too good. 3 meals a day plus afternoon tea, all made by him. For 6 months, I never had the same dish twice. People say a man who cooks that well must have a good heart, and maybe that's what hooked me. I fell for his food first, and then started chasing him like crazy. But Blake was always there, always by his side, like his shadow, and that made me feel threatened. My tired eyes burned from the cold wind, and tears started to spill uncontrollably. Blake looked away, his voice cool and quiet. "Are you sure you want to come in, even knowing the consequences?" Consequences? At that point, who cared about consequences? I was about to die out there. Anyway, the danger only came when you sought refuge with an alpha. Stepping into an alpha's home meant complete submission. Once you crossed that threshold, you had to obey every order and couldn't resist. But Blake was a beta. What did I have to fear? Even if he told me to stop chasing Oscar, I'd just nod, play along, and survive the night. I'll take whatever comes, just let me in. I shook the gate violently. The alphas behind me had already gotten out of their cars, circling like predators, waiting for Blake's response. If he shook his head, I'd be done for, marked right there at my rival's doorstep. Alright. Blake pressed a button on the side panel, and the iron gate slowly opened. None of the alphas dared move, but I was too panicked to notice how strange that was. Normally, even a beta's house couldn't keep alphas out during Independence Day. Snatching an Omega by force wasn't against the rules tonight. Just as I stepped one foot inside, a voice barked from behind. Using such dirty tricks to lure an Omega inside, don't you think that's low? An alpha with a buzzcut dyed dark red stepped forward. He was talking to Blake, but I could feel his eyes burning into the back of my neck. Blake shrugged lightly, unconcerned. He came willingly. I ran to stand beside Blake. Yeah, I came willingly, you bunch of losers. Then, on pure adrenaline, I stood on tiptoe and planted a quick kiss on Blake's cheek. It made a loud smack, and I didn't dare look at his face. I could practically feel the storm brewing in his expression. Lifting one eyebrow, I turned toward the alphas outside and grinned in triumph. No one could understand the thrill of escaping death like this. I got cocky, brushing back the hair on my neck. Come on then. Mark me if you can. Pathetic. Reckless. But it felt damn good. The iron gate closed behind us with a slow clang, and silence fell. Only our breathing filled the air. Blake's expression darkened. He pressed his hand against the back of my neck, covering the gland. Don't push it. So what? They wouldn't dare come in anyway. Blake's pupils flickered. His thumb brushed lightly over my gland, not hard, but enough to send a shiver shooting down my spine. Stop, don't press. Shoo. Blake lifted a finger to my lips, signaling me to be quiet. I didn't have to let you in, did I? His hand moved with such calm precision, one in front, one behind, that even without strength, I felt completely trapped. The aura around him, it didn't feel like something a beta should have. Are you going to throw me out? I was genuinely scared now, my earlier arrogance gone. I hunched my shoulders and softened my tone. I'm sorry, please don't kick me out. If I go back out there, I'll die. No, Blake said, raising an eyebrow, clearly amused by my sudden submission. I won't let anyone mark you. I let out a shaky breath. Thank you. You're actually, really nice. I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have talked trash about you to Oscar, or blocked your door, or tried to make things hard for you. Blake tilted his head, his voice light, almost casual. Did you? I don't remember. No need to apologize. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. What kind of man opens his door to his rival on the most dangerous night of the year, and then brushes off all the insults he's suffered with a quiet, I don't remember. Maybe I'd been looking at him all wrong. Blake told me to sit wherever I wanted and handed me a satellite phone. Want to call Oscar? I'm guessing you'd rather he were the one sitting next to you right now. I took the phone awkwardly. All regular signals were down. Satellite was the only thing still working. Thanks. Really? But his grip on the phone was tight, and for a second, he didn't let go. I tugged harder, a bit confused. What was that supposed to mean? Was he worried about the call cost or something? I can't guarantee it'll go through. That's fine, I'll wait, I said quickly when he finally released it. I'll pay you back for the call. No need. His jaw tightened, and though he forced a polite smile, it looked strained. Use it as you like. Just as Blake warned, the call didn't go through. Not because of no signal, it just kept ringing, unanswered. I stayed by the phone, hoping I'd be the first to pick up if Oscar called back. Blake sat beside me, keeping a polite distance. You haven't gone into heat yet since your differentiation? He asked. I touched the back of my neck. It was a little warm, but nothing more. Not really. Maybe I've been too nervous. Running for my life kind of shuts the body down, I guess. Blake nodded thoughtfully. I see. Want something to drink? I can set up a guest room for you. If there's a call, I'll wake you. I didn't want to trouble him, so I just asked for some water. How could someone like Blake be this decent? His rival shows up at his door, and he still serves water and makes up a bed for him. I took the glass he handed me and gulped it down. I was exhausted, my body was screaming for rest. After driving all night like a maniac, I could barely keep my eyes open. Blake had the bed prepared, soft and smelling faintly of something clean and warm. I collapsed into it and fell asleep instantly. Anyone watching would have thought the water had been drugged. It was so hot. Half awake, I stirred from a restless sleep, my body burning, breath thick with the sweet scent of lychee. My gland at the back of my neck throbbed, swollen and feverish. Blake, probably just trying to be kind, must have turned the temperature up too high so I wouldn't catch a chill. I couldn't find the control panel anywhere in the room, so I pressed my face against the cool door, desperate for relief. maybe I should just ask him to turn the temperature down. But the door suddenly opened from the other side, and I lost my balance. My knees went weak, and I fell straight into Blake's arms. My first words came out slurred and anxious. Did he call me back? No. Blake's voice was smooth and cold. My ear brushed against his lips as I tried to cool down, seeking any bit of cold. He lifted a hand, brushing the back of it against my face. His skin was warm, too warm, but still cooler than mine. When he pulled away, I instinctively leaned toward the touch again. It's too hot. You might be entering your heat. That's a problem. Do you need my help? Do you have a suppressant? No. He pushed me away slightly, studying me with calm curiosity. So Omega pheromones smell like the fruit they love most? His words were soft, blurred at the edges. He was a beta. What help could he even offer? Before I could ask, he took my wrist and guided me toward the bathroom. There's another way. He turned on the cold shower and aimed the stream straight at me. The icy water drenched my clothes, shocking me back to consciousness. I tried to reach for the tap, but Blake caught my wrist and pinned it against the wall. His other hand lifted the soaked hem of my shirt as he murmured, "Weren't you hot? Let me cool you down." My brain screamed that I should push him away, but my body leaned in, craving that fleeting coolness. Then Blake suddenly shut off the water, wrapping me firmly in a towel. "That's enough. You'll catch a cold." He gave me one of his robes to change into. It hung loose on me, the neckline wide, the fabric soft and faintly scented. A trace of perfume clung to it, a subtle woodiness, like smoke rising from burning cedar, or the dry warmth of freshly carved shavings. It smelled like Blake himself, calm, grounded, quietly steady. Any other time, I might have liked that scent, but not now. Not when I was burning up inside. That calmness, that control, it was torture. I curled up in the corner of the sofa, wrapped in his robe, but the trembling wouldn't stop. Blake knelt on one knee beside me, holding a glass of whiskey, his tone gentle. Cold? He thought I was shaking from the chill, so he fetched a blanket and draped it over my shoulders. But as he did, I felt his fingers brush down my spine, light and deliberate. Was I imagining that? I tried to shrug the blanket off, but before I could, Blake caught my wrists and tied them to the armrest with his tie. This audio is originally produced by the YouTube channel, Omegaverse Tales Studio. Please credit when sharing. He brought the glass to my lips. Drink. It'll warm you up and make you feel better. You'll get sick otherwise. I turned my head away. The smell of alcohol made me nauseous, but Blake held my chin and made me take a sip. Whiskey burned down my throat, spilling from the corner of my mouth. I struggled, trying to free my hands, but he caught my wrists again, pinning them above my head. In the scuffle, the robe slipped from my shoulder. Blake's eyes darkened, but instead of taking advantage, he just adjusted the fabric back in place. Don't catch a cold. I meant to shove him away, but somehow my fingers caught on his belt instead. When he started to rise, my knee brushed his side, stopping him. My smartwatch, the one tracking my vitals, somehow ended up on my ankle, beeping wildly as my pulse spiked. Blake caught my ankle before I could reach it. Your heart rate's through the roof. And your temperature, his gaze sharpened. Frank, that's not how someone reacts to their rival. My stomach dropped, heat rushing to my face. What the hell was I doing? Trying to hold on to my rival's touch? Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the whiskey glass he'd made me drink from, the one with a full sphere of ice inside. I reached for it, intending to pour it over my head, but Blake caught my wrist again. You're wasting good whiskey. I just feel awful. I buried my face in the robe's collar, breathing in the faint, smoky scent clinging to it. Like every Omega craving an alpha's pheromones, I was losing control. Blake sighed quietly, a sound halfway between frustration and surrender. He plucked the ice sphere from the glass. Droplets ran down his wrist, falling onto my collarbone. I gasped, jerking at the cold, and couldn't help leaning closer. Look at me, he said quietly. Then he pressed the melting ice against the back of my neck. The sting of cold slid into the fevered burn, water trickling down between my shoulders. It's too cold. I flinched hard, but Blake held me steady with one hand on my waist, guiding the ice slowly down my spine. Cold's good, he murmured. It helps you remember who I am. My hands were weak against his chest, pushing, clutching, unsure which. When the ice trailed lower, my fingers twisted in the fabric of his robe, trembling. I know. The words slipped out between shaky breaths. I know who you are. Then who am I? Blake's voice was low, teasing, as he held the last piece of ice against my lips. Blake, I whispered. His smile turned razor-sharp. He tilted my chin up, eyes glinting. So what you really want, he said softly, is me. No, I'm not. I blurted out the words before I could stop myself. It's just a normal Omega reaction. I tried to explain, my voice shaking. Oh, really? Blake didn't look convinced. His fingertips brushed over the overheated gland at the back of my neck. I couldn't tell if it was deliberate or accidental, or deliberately not accidental. Either way, a shudder tore through me, and the sweet, heavy scent of lychee flooded the room. His palm lingered against my skin, soaking in the heat pulsing beneath it. A low, teasing smile curved his lips. So hot, no wonder you can't stand it. Right. I pushed his hand away and tried to stand, my legs trembling. It has nothing to do with you. I'd react this way with anyone. I didn't need a mirror to know my face was flushed and my skin unnaturally warm. Even the faint brush of fabric against my body felt electrified. When Blake's breath grazed my earlobes went scarlet. His fingers skimmed along my side and my knees gave out. I almost fell, but he caught me effortlessly. Can't even stand on your own and still trying to act tough. It's none of your business. I didn't ask for your help. Blake's tongue flicked over his lips. You didn't ask, but your body did. Who was it just now wrapping his leg around me? The air was thick with the syrupy scent of pheromones, so sweet it made my head spin. My body trembled uncontrollably. What time is it? I asked, forcing my voice steady. 11 o'clock. You've been asleep for 10 hours. What exactly? 11:56, he said, glancing at his watch. Perfect, I almost cheered, then caught his expression, cold, unreadable, and quickly bit my tongue. You're relieved, aren't you? He murmured, voice low and sharp. In 4 minutes, you can call Oscar to pick you up. Then what? Let him mark you. The fog in my head thinned just enough for me to see him clearly, my rival. But my body didn't care. It moved toward him like a magnet drawn to steel. It's not like that. I didn't even want Oscar to mark me. I didn't like him that much, just admired him from afar. Then what are you so happy about? Blake's tone hardened. That you finally get to escape me? He leaned closer until I could feel his breath on my skin. Do you really hate me that much? The quiet, smoky scent surrounding him made my pulse stutter. Every time he drew near, my brain dissolved into static. Can't I be happy? I snapped, though my voice cracked. Do you need to see me fall apart? You saved me just so you could humiliate me. My hands pushed weakly against him. I probably looked pathetic, half fighting, half clinging. Omega hormones were merciless, even my tear ducts were rebelling. Frustration blurred my vision until tears spilled freely. Blake's expression softened in surprise. He hurried to wipe my tears away. I wasn't humiliating you. You can be happy. I just like seeing you that way. My mind went blank. Wait, what? Did he really just say that? That wasn't something a rival was supposed to say. You like seeing me happy? Are you kidding me? Panic shot through me. I grabbed his wrist and looked at the clock on his watch. 11:59, 49. 11 seconds left. I tried to get up, but Blake caught my wrist again, his grip firm. Smart, Frank. You understand now, don't you? He smiled, too perfect, too calm, and for the first time I found that smile terrifying. I'm not smart, I stammered. There's still time. Just let me go downstairs, okay? Not even one more second with me. His tone was light, almost tender, but his eyes gleamed like glass. What are you talking about? Something about him was off, too composed, too still. I felt a chill crawl down my spine. I told you, he said softly. I won't let anyone else mark you. I wrenched at his grip with everything I had. You're insane. You're a beta. What the hell are you even saying? Blake's smile didn't waver. I'm a little upset, Frank. You're breaking your promise. I started counting under my breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The antique clock downstairs struck midnight. Finally, Independence Day was over. Relief surged through me so fast I almost laughed. I don't know what you're talking about. Time's up, I'm leaving. And then I saw it. The pair of rose gold handcuffs in his hand. Blake, it's past midnight. What you're doing is illegal. I wanted to give you a choice, he said, stepping closer. His voice was calm, too calm. He unclasped his expensive watch and tossed it aside. It hit the floor with a sharp crack. If you'd just said you'd stay a little longer, I wouldn't have forced you. But your attitude, his smile vanished, disappointed me. You've lost your mind. Let me go, Blake. I swear I'll. Before I could finish, the handcuffs snapped shut around my wrists with a cold click. How could I be breaking the law? He murmured, pulling open the thick curtains, when it's not even midnight yet. Blinding sunlight poured into the room. Blake, you're lying, right? It's the next day already, isn't it? You can go check, he said quietly. But if you leave, I won't open the door again. He crouched beside me, the keychain glinting between his fingers, eyes never leaving mine. How could I possibly take that gamble? I tried to stand taller, to sound righteous. You drugged me, didn't you? You triggered my heat on purpose. I don't need drugs to make you react. Blake peeled away the skin tone patch from the back of his neck. It was just melatonin in the water, to calm you down. After being chased all night, you were too tense to sleep. Is that really what you think of me? The next second, the air filled with the same scent I'd mistaken for his cologne. That deep, steady wood fragrance. He wasn't a beta at all. He was an alpha. And the moment that pheromone hit me, my legs gave out. When did I ever say I was a beta? His voice was soft, mocking. And weren't you the one who came to me first? Despicable. That word doesn't suit you, he murmured, tracing his fingertip along my cheek, brushing away the cold sweat on my forehead. That look on your face, you're not angry, you're flirting. He cupped my waist and gazed down, his shadow swallowing me whole. Your heat hurts, doesn't it? Maybe I could have resisted, but when he tore off that suppressor patch, every drop of blood in my body seemed to ignite. My glands throbbed painfully, swelling beneath my skin. The lychee scent mingled with his smoky sandalwood pheromones, turning the air thick and dizzying. Ha! I gasped, my voice breaking. Tears blurred my eyes, but I still forced a smirk. It doesn't hurt. Not at all. Sweat clung to my face, my hair sticking to my skin. You're listening to Omegaverse Tales Studio, a YouTube channel dedicated to captivating short stories. Let's continue. Blake caught my hand and pressed it to the back of his neck. Feel that? Tell me, whose is hotter? My fingers curled instinctively, but he pried them open, guiding them to his pulse. It was burning, alive, steady and powerful. I couldn't think anymore. My body leaned into him, my forehead pressing against his shoulder. I opened my mouth and bit down, but there was no strength left in my jaw. Do you want it? His breath was a whisper against my ear. Then say it. The word sounded like a command, but his hand was impossibly gentle, combing through my damp hair as if he were afraid I might break. Let go of me. Blake's hand cupped my cheek while the other swept down the back of my neck, smearing a thick, liquid-like coat of pheromones onto my lips. Then he closed the door and left. I curled up on the bed, licking the back of my lips inch by inch, craving even a small measure of comfort. Instead, it only made me hotter, more restless. I buried myself in Blake's robe, trembling uncontrollably. I bit my lip, tears soaking the sheets. Please. My mind wavered, and a suppressed please slipped out before I could stop it. Reason caught up quickly. Was I begging for mercy? I clutched Blake's robe, silently sobbing. I couldn't plead. I had to face Oscar later. I didn't expect Blake to come back. One hand held the satellite phone, the other, a cup of ice. Ice or the phone? He asked. The meaning was clear, Reason or Oscar, which mattered more? The phone. Both. Blake set the phone on the bedside table, plucked a chunk of ice from the cup, and placed it in his mouth before leaning toward me. The melting ice trailed down my chin into my collar, and Blake's tongue followed the rivulets. Unknowingly, his pheromone output intensified. If I had only exerted a little more effort, I could have reached the phone. Blake paused, watching me leisurely. Frank, all you need to do is step away from my pheromones to grab the phone. Why not try? The teasing control nearly shattered me. Then the satellite phone rang. I reached for it, but Blake snatched it first. Blake, give me. He ignored me, speaking calmly into the phone. Okay, nothing serious. Yes, what noise? Oh, someone at home, yes. My mind blanked. Who was on the line? What was he saying? So now, did Oscar know I was at Blake's, on Blake's bed, even? Frank, what are you staring at me for? My heart lurched. No. I instinctively wanted to shout, to stop him from saying my name, to prevent Oscar from realizing anything, but I couldn't. I shook my head frantically, tears flying. Alright, see you tomorrow. By the way, if Oscar has time, have him call me. Someone's looking for him. So it wasn't Oscar on the line. Blake hung up and rubbed my tear-stained eyes. Why are you crying again? So scared he'll find out. Have you thought why he isn't answering? Because he's hunting. Got it? He's an alpha. I know you won't believe me, but when he calls back, I'll play it for you. Oscar isn't like that. And how are you different? Even if he's hunting, aren't you? You waited, and I ran straight into you. I like that metaphor. Makes you seem proactive. Blake wasn't angry. He kept releasing pheromones, drawing me in. I scoffed, though the heat in me made it sound more like a pant than a laugh. Proactive? Haven't you seen me chasing Oscar? Blake's gaze turned sharp, predatory. He traced a slow line down my spine to my hip, circling. This is the most sensitive spot during your heat, isn't it? Ah, he whispered in my ear, deliberately teasing. Has Oscar touched you, kissed you? I shook my head. Blake chuckled softly. Does he know how you tremble in my arms? I tilted my head back, tear-stained eyes glistening, biting my lower lip to suppress a whimper. The glistening on my throat reflected Blake's scorching gaze. He knew I was at my limit, he could feel every reaction. Beg me. I'll help you. I felt like a half-dead fish in warm water, Blake's large hand pressing against my gills. Please. Beg me for what? To mark you, or to let you go? His fingers circled my swollen gland, each motion sending jolts of electricity along my spine. Suddenly, a firm press, and I arched instinctively, muffled words spilling out. Please, Mark, let me go. Blake's eyes darkened, swirling like a vortex trying to pull me in. Frank, you're like this. Blake glanced down at me, still calm. How am I not enough compared to Oscar? I bit my own hand until it bled, blood seeping between my teeth. The metallic tang kept me grounded for a few seconds. I gasped, forcing out words. It's not about Oscar, not about you. It's because I refuse to. What kind of Independence Day nonsense is this? Who's independent? Why should Omegas be chosen by Alphas? I want to choose for myself, make a decision I won't regret while clear-headed. I admit it. I like the scent of your pheromones. There were several moments I was tempted, almost wanting to submit. But that's just the hormones during my heat. Even if Oscar were here, I could still stay rational. The sentence was too long. I panted, tears blurring my vision as I studied Blake's reaction. He was silent, pupils dark as night, staring straight at me. I thought I saw him on the verge of tears, and my heart ached. Frank, as you wish. Blake pulled out a dose of suppressant and injected it into my arm. You probably won't forgive me. It seems everything I do is wrong. I pretended to be a beta, and you liked an alpha. I did so much, but you fell for Oscar instead, treating me like a rival. That day you came to see me, no explanation would have helped. He shook his head in self-disgust. I'm genuinely glad you came today. I'm a businessman, we're taught to seize opportunities. I wanted to tempt you, hear you say yes, and mark you naturally, maybe lock you with me forever. But, never mind. I was confused. Pretended to be a beta? Wasn't that just his personal preference? Did he do so much? And I liked Oscar instead? And but, he left unsaid. I couldn't guess. I'll take you home. It's too dangerous out there. You're really letting me go. I've exhausted every trick to tempt you. I can't force you. I can tell you really dislike me, but can I ask why? Blake's expression looked pitiful, like he were the one handcuffed. Why do you hate me? Is it because my cooking isn't good? What cooking? The suppressant worked quickly. I grabbed Blake's keys and unlocked the cuffs. The meals Oscar brought you said you were tired of local takeout. I saw you finish them every time, so I thought you liked. I froze. Why did the meals smell like woodsy notes not from Oscar? So all these months, every meal, every afternoon tea snack, had actually been prepared by my rival? Oscar said he made them himself. I even ignored his flirting with other Omegas because I admired his cooking. So, did I never really like Oscar himself? And now Blake suddenly tells me that the one thing I admired in Oscar, his cooking, isn't even his. The culinary skill I adored, was actually Blake's. Then, do I like Oscar at all? Or was it Blake I liked all along? But, when I was at my lowest, it was Oscar who comforted me. He said I was his muse. He always gave me the right choice when I felt lost. Blake reached out, then retracted, exhaustion in his voice. Frank, Oscar didn't say those things to you. It was me. The meals were mine, too. I just asked him to deliver them because he's your senior. I didn't want you to feel I was coming on too strong. So what about before, when you said I was unreliable? I remember clearly, you said you hated arrogant alphas. That's why I pretended to be a beta to get close to you. But I don't know why you fell for Oscar, another alpha. I had no words. Could I even speak? If all of this were true, what had I done? I even gave Blake a hard time, threatened him, told him if I saw him with my idol again, I'd go after him in 3 days. But it doesn't matter. Since you treated me as a rival, I get more chances to talk to you openly. I can look at you without hiding it. Honestly, I'm happy. My brain short-circuited. So those domineering looks were actually affectionate. I didn't know how to face him. I just wanted to run. In this environment, I couldn't tell who I really liked. Blake, I'm sorry. For the first time, Blake didn't feel terrifying. He seemed more like a wronged concubine, driven mad in isolation. Give me some time to think, okay? I can't tell right now. You saved me, so we're even. I don't blame you. Blake drove my rented Lamborghini home. Getting out, my heart sank. The car had several long scratches, probably from the alphas chasing us earlier. No surveillance today, no insurance coverage, and it was a rental. Repairs would cost at least $600,000 or $700,000. Yesterday, my friend's bar had opened, so I rented the car to make a scene. Blake unconsciously came to my side. Sorry, I didn't notice while driving. I scratched it. Go home first, I'll contact the rental company and handle it. It was my fault, has nothing to do with you. Fine, we'll deal with it tomorrow. For now, go home. You have my pheromones with you, don't be afraid. I stopped him. It really was my fault. Don't do this. I can't pay it back. Blake smiled and nodded. Don't worry, go rest. Believe it or not, there was only melatonin in the water. I believed him. The moment he injected me with the suppressant, my skepticism vanished. On this Independence Day, Blake could do whatever he wanted, especially considering the rule: when an Omega seeks refuge in an Alpha's home, they must obey unconditionally. Yet, aside from repeatedly tempting me, he never once used his privilege to mark me without my consent. Independence Day was over. The next day, work resumed as usual. The suppressant patch on Blake's neck was gone, but the faint scent of sandalwood still lingered teasingly at my nose. The rental company messaged me. The compensation had been deposited. I hurried to find Blake, but the moment I caught the faint trace of his pheromones outside his office, my legs went weak instinctively. Didn't I say I'd handle the compensation? Blake's arm was wrapped in a bandage, and a deep cut ran along his brow, now scabbed over. I rushed over. What happened to you? Nothing serious. I was driving to the rental company, fatigued, and ran into a landscaped curb. The airbags deployed, the car was almost totaled. Your scratches are nothing compared to that. I almost hated myself for not being dumb enough. I could have pretended ignorance and said, well, you really weren't careful driving. My chest ached, part of me numb, wanting to cry but holding it back. Was it serious? Just scrapes. By the way, Oscar will come by later. Do you want to hear what he has to say? I think you have the right to know his schedule yesterday. I waved him off. No, I didn't want to hear it. At this point, whether Oscar had hunted or not didn't matter to me. Honestly, Oscar himself didn't matter to me anymore. This story is exclusively produced by the YouTube channel, Omegaverse Tales Studio. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. Blake grew a little anxious. Are you avoiding it? Avoidance won't help. Or do you simply not care whether Oscar went hunting or not? Then, what do you care about? What I care about is whether you'll still bring me meals. The words slipped out before I could stop myself. Was this appropriate, moral, to a patient who just survived a car accident, hand bandaged, to say, I still want your cooking? I really was trash. Blake's eyes brightened. You like it? I've gotten used to it. Good, then I'll make you lunch. That's not what I meant, you're still injured. I took small steps toward him, greedily inhaling the scent of his pheromones. After eating your meals for half a year, do you want to try mine? I could cook, though my skills were mediocre and I was lazy, but I felt I should do something for Blake, otherwise, I'd feel guilty. So, I brought him meals for 2 weeks. We didn't touch beyond meal times. We silently pretended Independence Day never happened. But in those 2 weeks, I gradually realized who I truly liked. Setting aside the non-existent culinary skill of Oscar, I found myself increasingly irritated by him. The more I got to know Blake, the more I craved the time spent with him. What I had liked in Oscar was always Blake's shadow. So when the real Blake was fully in front of me, how could I not be moved? Yet Blake never mentioned feelings again. Did he still like me? A me who'd cost him over $750,000. I decided to try. I was always proactive when chasing someone. I sneaked into the restroom and injected myself with a heat-inducing serum. The vial had been bought on the fly, cost a fortune. The moment the last drop hit my vein, the air erupted with sweet, cloying lychee scent. I unbuttoned the top 2 buttons of my shirt and, during lunch break, knocked on Blake's private resting room door. I didn't even need to knock. He smelled my pheromones from afar. Blake pulled me in and locked the door. My racing heart finally calmed. But then he rummaged through drawers looking for suppressant, and my calm flared up again. Blake, I really like the scent of your pheromones. I hugged him from behind. Can you release more? I love the sandalwood, its calm, warmth, and quiet embrace. Frank, you're not clear-headed. I am. I lifted my arm to show the needle marks. I did this on purpose. Please, mark me. Blake no longer needed to hold back. His canines brushed my glands countless times but never bit down. I was collapsing under desire. Do you not like me? Blake blinked. Marking you now, wouldn't that be taking advantage? At this point, you owe me one last line, Blake said. I reacted immediately. I like you. Blake is not just a shadow of Oscar, you are yourself. Before Blake's canines pierced the gland at the back of my neck, I shouted, and one more thing, what are you playing at, Alpha? The marking finished. Blake held me, kissing me again and again. Finally, it's done. I huffed in irritation. If you're going to chase someone, do it yourself. Why need a middleman? I spat lightly in Oscar's metaphorical face. The heat of my cycle, lasting a full week, had only just begun.